There we go. Alright. We are going to react to a video from Shoe on Head. This one is called the Male Loser Epidemic. Now, I don't believe there's such thing as a male loser epidemic. Now, are there male losers? Yes. Are there women losers? Again, yes. There are losers on both sides. But let's see what Shu has to say about this whole thing, shall we?
Hello again, friends. Sorry I've been gone for quite a bit. Hopefully nothing too crazy happened. I feel like every time I take a break, like a war breaks out or something, but
Oh, nothing real crazy happened, just the world falling apart.
but thankfully that did not happen. But at least we found out the real Epstein files.
Epstein client list doesn't exist. Justice Department says walking back theory Bondi had promoted.
For the friends we made along the way. Welcome back to the
Yeah, I highly
Gryphonknight
doubt
channel.
that.
If it is your first time here, run.
No,
I
I'm
am
good.
Shoe on Head, and on this channel I like to cover cultural issues mostly surrounding men's issues. It's what I've been doing for over a decade, and frankly, I'm exhausted. Many of you have been along for the ride, and you have seen me go from a chipper, lively 24-year-old making fun of BuzzFeed and Tumblr feminists to a bitter, calloused 34-year-old talking about very real and growing men's issues. One of the main men's issues I have been covering in great detail lately has been the male loneliness epidemic. Yeah, but turns out I was wrong.
Which apparently a lot of people think doesn't actually exist, which I'm sorry to say to a lot of you ladies out there who think this is just bullshit. It actually does exist. Do your research, women.
We don't have a male loneliness epidemic. We have a male loser epidemic. It's not a male loneliness epidemic. No, it's a male mediocrity epidemic. It's a male loser epidemic.
The male loser epidemic.
A male mediocrity.
It's males mad, women not love them like mommy does epidemic. Okay, that last one is just full of grammatical errors. Jesus Christ. Get your shit together, lady.
Epidemic. It's a male loser epidemic.
The male loser epidemic has gotten so bad that it's honestly so pathetic at this point.
Right,
Now, I don't always talk about men's issues. No, sometimes I talk about politics, and sometimes I mix the two together. Now, I know a lot of you don't like politics. You don't care about politics. But politics cares about you, and it will enter your life no matter how hard you try to avoid it. But
yeah, that's the thing that yep. Goodbye. Yeah, I'm not gonna fucking tolerate that shit. Fucking asshole. I mean, really, you come into somebody's stream and you say that shit? God, fucking idiot. I swear to God. Thank God there's an AI mod to take care of that. Anyways, yeah, yeah, no matter how much you try, politics is always going to get into your life in some way, shape, or form. So it's like nearly impossible to avoid it unless, you know, you're living off the grid.
thankfully, I have the perfect app to help you navigate this difficult, confusing political landscape. So let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, Ground News, before we get into this video, shall we? Ground News is a website and an app that gives readers a fun and transparent way to read the news from all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of the political bias, ownership, and headlines that helps you understand the full story and make sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features from Ground News has to be the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by only one side of the political spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here is a story about how the CIA uncovered a Russiagate fraud, and right away we can see how it has been covered by 41 sources, and out of those 41 sources, 93% of them lean right, with only 2 left-wing outlets reporting the story. Ground News also makes it really easy to compare headlines to see just how political bias can affect the framing of a story. For example, this story about Zohran Mamdani winning the Democratic primary in New York. This left-leaning outlet says Zohran Mamdani's win just got a little sweeter. And meanwhile, the right-wing outlet says, meet Zohran Mamdani, the man who will ruin New York. As you can see, very different vibes. I have been using Ground News since 2021 because I think it is so informative, so fun, and it helps me see how different stories are framed so differently, and I love it. I highly recommend it. It's one of the few apps that I wake up and just immediately check. But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. High praise. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all of their amazing features. This comes out to only like $5 a month, which is like the price of a coffee. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code right there on screen, or the link in the video description down there to subscribe to Ground News today. I feel like what they're doing is really important, especially right now, and it helps us approach the news in a more fair and balanced way. So thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. Right? Now, let's get back to the video. With all these issues men are facing, they seem to be moving to the right and the Republicans more, since the left and Democrats have essentially just become the young men eat and die.
I'm not right or left, Republican or Democrat. I just go with whichever one makes the most logical sense and that's most grounded in, reality. And so far, both sides are fucking stupid and need to pull their head out of their fucking ass.
Movement. Months ago, I covered how the Democratic Party was losing young men, and I predicted Kamala Harris would lose in part because of young men overwhelmingly voting for Trump. And I was correct. Well, now the Democrats have unveiled their final solution to the right-wing male loser epidemic. Democrats spending millions to learn how to speak to American men and win back the working class.
You already can tell they have a problem because they have to spend money just to learn how to speak to the average American citizen. Just the average American citizen. They're spending money to learn how to fucking speak to them. Here's a way to do it. Speak to them with respect and some decorum. Don't talk down to them like they are some ignorant invalid that has no idea how to navigate life and can't do it without being led by the leash. Because that's essentially what you people are fucking doing. So how about you speak to us with some respect and humility and, maybe we'll listen and, actually say stuff that makes actual logical sense and that's grounded in reality. That might help as well.
Democrats have blown millions of dollars on efforts to appeal to American men who turned to President Donald Trump in droves on Election Day in hopes of winning back the working class. Democrats have spent $20 million on their efforts, with donors and strategists holing up in luxury hotel rooms, brainstorming how to convince working class men to return to the party. Ah yes, nothing more relatable to working class men than luxury hotel rooms. Great job, guys. The plan? Codename SAM, or Speaking with American Men, a strategic plan. promises to use the funds to study the syntax language and content that gains attention and virality in these spaces. The effort also recommends Democrats buy advertisement in video games, among other things. The Democratic Party is treating young men like exotic animals they're studying. Now, as you can see here,
they seem to treat us like we're some disposable commodity or like we're some object to be studied. Just treat us like humans. Treat us like, actual human people. Don't treat us like we're some disposable object that has no further use in society.
is the young man in his natural habitat, in a dark, messy cave surrounded by Taco Bell wrappers and empty Mountain Dew bottles.
His reaction to drinking water is freaking hilarious.
Here is another young man, as you can see, also...
This guy lives in a fucking fantasy world. He really needs not a slap upside the head. He needs to be kicked in the fucking head and, come back to fucking reality instead of living in his own fantasy world where he thinks that he's the most correct out of everybody in the entire world and everyone should listen to his views and fuck everyone else.
Dwelling in a dark cave. This one has dyed his hair blue to scare off potential predators. Unfortunately, it also scares off potential mates. But moving on, here is another young man. We think we're not quite sure about this one. We're still studying it. Listen, Democrats, instead of spending $20 million to do that stupid, maybe you should, I don't know, actually listen to men. I listen to men for free all the time. All I have to do is read my comment section. Let's see here.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, they think they're listening to them, but unless what they say aligns with what they believe and want, they're not going to listen to them. Because as soon as it differs from what they believe, what they think, it just goes in one ear and out the other. Like, why should they listen if they don't align with their beliefs? That's what the entire political party thinks, both sides. Why should they care? If it doesn't make them money, if it doesn't align with their agenda and their beliefs, why should they care? It's just how they think. Why should they care?
Shoe on Head is a perfect example of why we need to repeal the 19th. Greetings from Albania. I hate women so much it's unreal. Ooh, shoo, mommy, milkies, milkies, milkies.
Yeah, her comment section is not the best to look at.
Mommy, mommy, mommy. One time I got my penis stuck in a soda bottle. Okay, on second thought, maybe my comment section is not the best source.
No.
Trump scored big with young male voters last election. Democrats...
This is one show nobody should fucking listen to. Not one single person should ever listen to this fucking show. It's just a bunch of women sitting on their high horse, high off their own fucking ego, thinking that they are the top of the world and they know everything. And yet for some people, for some reason, people listen to this and they're getting paid to spew vile bullshit on national television. I don't get why they pay these dumbass people.
are spending $20 million to learn how to speak their language. I think it's a waste of money.
It would be just as effective to get a bunch of chickens and put them on a table and listen to them cluck at each other. That's basically what you're watching, is just a bunch of chickens clucking at each other, giving no real, advice, no actual advancement to society. This is just vile bullshit. That's all this show is.
Maybe these guys should spend their money on teaching men to not be such sexists. Maybe that's it.
See what I mean? No. It's all men are sexist. All men are evil. All men bad. Cluck, 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 cluck. No, honey. Maybe it's not that all men are bad. Maybe it's just the men that you've interacted with and the men you choose are bad. So learn to pick people better.
Don't bear that out now.
Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
It is women like these dumbasses who are trying to feminize men. They want men to be more in tune with their feelings. They want men to share more. They want men to do this and that instead of, let men being men. They want actual masculine men who will protect them, provide, and all this stuff. And yet, it's just... I swear, it's like a lot of these women have no idea what they actually want. They say they want one thing, and yet they go for the complete fucking opposite of what they say they want. And this is not all women. There are plenty of women out there who know what they want, say what they want, and actually go with what they say that they want. But all we keep hearing is women like this. They say they want one thing, and yet... I can't stand women like this.
For a lot of young women out there that want to get married, they want to have kids, they want to have stable families, but there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash.
Oh.
Do you realize how expensive it is to live? Do you realize the price of everything has gone fucking through the roof, and the wages that are supposed to go up along with it haven't? The average cost of a house in America in general is $300,000 to $400,000, and the average median income is, I think, like $50,000 to $65,000. How is anybody supposed to afford to live in a house and then pay all the bills, pay for gas, groceries, children, to comfortably afford in general to, live? You need to be making at least $124,000 to $130,000 at the least to, live without having to worry every fucking day if you're going to be able to afford the next meal. And not everybody can make that. It's like these people, they refuse. You show them the problem and they make every excuse in the world to try and deny the problem and say that we're just not working hard enough. We're just not doing enough.
Oh no. The very night I was sitting on my couch writing the script to my video about how the Democrats are spending $20 million to relate to young men, this came on my TV on Fox News. A Tommy Lahren and Laura Ingraham segment about stay-at-home sons, men who still live at home. Literally minutes after this aired, it went absolutely viral on Twitter for not good reasons. So we are going to unpack this piece by piece. Because even though everyone was mocking it and making fun of it, as far as I saw, nobody was really dissecting it and breaking down exactly why she was so egregiously wrong. So come join me in debunking the male loser epidemic. Because who else better equipped to talk about men's issues than two stupid blonde bimbos? Hold on one second.
3 stupid blonde bimbos.
3 stupid blonde bimbos. Sorry.
We love you, Shu.
I felt left out. Alright, let's go. Wait. I need my gamer fuel. See? I do drink it.
People, please make sure to drink water along with that, because drinking only that stuff will give you kidney stones. Please make sure to drink water.
That one's for you, Tectone.
It's a major problem. And Speaker Johnson has been talking about those maybe deadbeat folks that are on Medicaid, and maybe some of those folks are the stay-at-home sons. We don't know.
Let's listen. The truth is there are people who do in fact take advantage of the system because they refuse to work and they got so comfortable with getting money from the government that when it's starting to run out, they absolutely refuse to get a job, and they freak out about having to get a job just to, have money. So don't get me wrong, there are people who take advantage of the system, but those are few and far between.
But I'll tell you this, leave it to Gen Z to rebrand laziness and social awkwardness as something cutesy, like a stay-at-home son. But Laura, I gotta tell you, this is also a big problem when it comes to, I think, declining birth rates, people not getting married and having children. That's a big problem. They blame it on women. Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are
Yeah, blame men. All men's fault. All men. Men this, men that. No. There is no blame to ever be had on women. Women are absolutely blameless. Nothing is their fault. It is women like this that make everything worse. They refuse to take any responsibility or accountability for any of their stupidity that they do.
a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement. And
men are, for a lack of a better way of saying this, men are terrified of approaching women. Mainly because I think it mainly started when the Me Too movement came. Don't get me wrong, the Me Too movement was an absolute success. It helped a lot of people, but I'd say probably about 10 years after it started to go south. People started to take absolute advantage of it, and they started accusing men left and right for things that they didn't do. They started accusing men just because they thought they were being creepy when they weren't. They thought some women accused men just because they thought they were ugly, or they got looked at wrong, or some sort of stupid shit. They took advantage of the fucking system, and now they're also afraid of approaching women for being possibly recorded and freaking humiliated on the internet, and having everyone and their mother just completely bash on them, turning them into a social pariah. So men are quite terrified of actually approaching women for fear of being socially ridiculed to hell. And as for the stay-at-home sons, I lived with my dad, first my mom and then my dad until I was 28. I think I was 26 or 28, I can't remember. Until 2018. And I lived with my brother for a couple of years, and I've been living on my own for a good, I'd say 3 or 4 years. But the thing is, it's a lot of people are staying with their parents because it is nearly impossible for anyone to afford to get a home, to afford to be able to put a down payment for a home, let alone an apartment or a townhouse. And I think a lot of the reason is because companies are allowed to buy up these swaths of homes and then put them on the market for exorbitant amounts, for exorbitant prices, well above what people can afford. And they're renting these houses out for no chance of people buying out the house to actually own it. It used to be where you can rent the house and eventually pay it off, and it would eventually become yours. Rent to own. And now a lot of these companies are buying up these large amount of houses, and they're only renting them out with no chance of people paying it off and then, having it as theirs. It's like rent to own is disappearing. And food prices have gone up. Gas here where I live is over $3. Gas down south is over $5-6, which is just fucking apocalyptic amounts of price for gas. Price for cars are going through the roof. It's just, and the amount of the wage for people has basically been stagnant since 2009. So people can't really afford to do anything. And they're barely being able to afford to even, help their parents pay for the house that they already live in. Hell, it takes like 3 to 5 people together just to afford a house. It should have never gotten that bad. Hell, back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, only 1 or 2 people needed to work to afford a house. Nowadays, like I said, it's 3 to 5 people. Basically, the entire family in the house has to work in order to afford the home and to afford food and everything else. It is egregiously bad for what it's gotten to.
Order DoorDash, and that's why we have declining birth rates and a lot of other problems in society. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air, meet people in real life.
That's another thing. It's like, go out and get a job. Like, you think it's that fucking easy, you dumb blonde bitch. You think jobs just grow on trees? HR people have gone out and admitted that a lot of the jobs that are out there are only posted because the company has to. They're not looking to hire anybody. They have to post these jobs, and they have to show that they're, actively interviewing people. Otherwise, they get in trouble when they're not actually looking to hire anybody. So there are people who send out tens, if not hundreds, of applications and resumes to jobs for months, even over a year, still with no success. And they even get called back being told that, sorry, we're not looking to fill this position, or we fill this position with somebody who is already within the company. It's just like, then why? It's like, you people think these jobs just grow on trees and we could just go into the company, shake somebody's hand, ask for a job, and then we're going to get hired on the spot. No, it's the job market is so fucking horrible. And there are even jobs that use AI to look through applications instead of an actual person. It has gotten so fucking horrible.
Let's just get back to basics.
So first of all, this stay-at-home son thing is not a real thing. It was a random throwaway, self-deprecating joke some contestant on Jeopardy said. One f***ing guy. Because I guess there's nothing else important going on that they could cover on the news. They literally made this into a fake phenomena so they can on young men. Meanwhile, Democrats are spending millions of dollars trying to win back young men. Oh no, the young men are leaving us in droves. How do we get them back? Don't worry, I got this. Hey, you fat, lazy, Cheeto dust-covered slobs. You. Nice. Thanks. I love you. I love you too.
This is so fucking stupid.
Is the amount of young men living home with their parents increasing? Yes. Is it because they're lazy bums and just want to order DoorDash all day? No. And also, they're not paying for DoorDash, Tommy.
And the thing is, here, there are plenty of people who actually want to work. Many people actually want to work. But the thing is, a lot of these jobs are paying shit. They're paying a shit amount and expecting them to go above and beyond without, any sort of compensation for doing so. How do you expect somebody to work for you when you're not paying what the job should be paid for?
Financing it. Come on. Get with the times.
There are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash, and that's why we have declining birth rates. It's time to go out, get a job, breathe the fresh air.
Have either of you tried applying for a job as a young man recently? Or tried buying a house on the salary of one of these young men? Have you experienced the dating market, been on the dating sites as a young man? No? Interesting, okay. Just wondering. Listen, I know the average age of a Fox News viewer is like 70 nowadays and you need to pander to them, but Tommy, you were like 2 years younger than me. You know this shit isn't true. Why are you talking like this? Why are you talking like a f***ing boomer? I'm sorry, I have no other word for this, but I hate this like generational pick-me shit. I was born in the wrong generation. I'm not like those other young people. And you know what? She's not like those other young people. Not all young people can afford a nice nose job and lip filler and get a cushy job on Fox News based entirely on merit, I'm sure. The main problem with this brain-dead boomer-ass take is not only is it cringe, but it's completely divorced from reality. This slop is specifically designed for people who paid like $5 for a f***ing...
Yeah, look at this. How horrible is this? Like, how are you expecting anybody to afford to be able to, you know, put a down payment on a house, let alone afford to just outright buy one? Look, this is more understandable right here. This is just egregiously stupid.
House. And listen, not all boomers, okay? My parents are boomers, they are lovely people. A lot of you guys are boomers, but when the baby boomer generation sends its people, it is not sending their best. They are not sending you. They're sending people who have lots of problems. They're bringing the housing crisis. They're bringing wage stagnation. They're falling for AI-generated photos on Facebook. But some, I assume, are good people. But my god, I truly believe they do not understand how good they had it. They could support a family on a single income. A single income from a job that didn't require a college degree. Their leaders didn't prostitute away their economic future for some cheap plastic shit from China. They inherited the greatest economy known to man, and they pretend it's a paradise that they earned. I just don't understand, like, why don't boomers and spiritual boomers like Tommy Lauren see people struggling and go, wow, I wish I could fix this. They should have it better than I had it. And you wonder why so many millennials and zoomers don't want kids. I want to make the world a better place.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you have kids, you always think it's like, I don't want, it's like, how do I put this? I want to make the world a better place so my kid has an easier time growing up and affording stuff. We are in a time and place where somebody has a kid and, you know what, fuck the kid. Fuck your feelings, fuck your mental health, fuck your emotional health, fuck your physical health. Work hard, don't complain, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, all that sort of shit. What the fuck happened?
For my children. I want to make the world a better place for my children. Ugh. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, you spoiled brat. Children? Not happening.
Well, look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men.
Young men are becoming lazy because they're becoming feminized. So they're becoming lazy because they act more like women?
I'd say it's because of the current wave of feminism, feminists that we have a lot of men that are being feminized. They are trying to feminize the men. They've basically demonized men. They have demonized masculinity, calling it toxic masculinity. There is no such fucking thing as toxic masculinity. Masculinity in and of itself is not toxic. It is the people behind it that are toxic. So it is not toxic masculinity. It is not toxic femininity. It is just toxic fucking people.
What did she mean by this, chat? I know there's like a decrease in testosterone or something happening, but men are moving right-wing all over the world. Does that correlate with the feminization? Or, I mean, there are suspiciously a lot of far-right femboys, so maybe. But here's the thing, Tammy. There is absolutely no evidence that young women want to start families more than young men. None. In fact, all the data says the exact opposite. According to Pew Research, 64% of women younger than 50 say they just don't want to have children. No reason, they just don't want them. Versus 50% of men who say the same. Another study by Archbridge Institute shows the same. 63% of women without children said they have no desire to have a child, while only 50% of men said the same. For men, the most commonly cited factor was personal finance, but among women, the strongest reason not to have a child was their desire to maintain their personal independence. Basically, they don't want to give up their brunch and mimosas. They've been ass-blasted with propaganda their whole lives, telling them their lives will be ruined, their bodies will be ruined, they'll never have fun again, they'll be miserable forever if they have children. And as someone who has had a children, best decision I've ever made. 10/10, highly recommend, would do it again. But
Yeah, there have been a lot of women who have come out and said that they see their friends, they see how happy their friends are with their husband and their children that they have, and they see how great of a time they're having with kids. They look at their friends that have these kids and they feel sad and they feel jealous. They feel like they've missed out. So it's just like you think having a child is like a horrid thing. Don't get me wrong, it's going to be fucking expensive because kids are expensive. But a lot of women are looking at their friends who have kids and they're sad because they don't have that.
yes, this idea that men are the ones primarily responsible for the low birth rates is laughable. We're laughing over here. But honestly, it's not really women or men's fault. There are a lot of factors that play into this. But Tommy, I really gotta ask, is it men or is it you?
This is gonna be the summer of canceling boys. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. All of my friends have something going on. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. But if all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think, it might not be us. It might be you.
Yeah, let's not take any accountability or responsibility for the choices in men that you make. Let's just blame it on all the men because, oh, men ain't shit. Men are trash. No, you dumb blonde bitch. It's your choice in men that is trash. You keep picking the trashy men who treat you like shit. How about you actually, go for somebody that actually treats you well and treats you with respect? Well, no, he's boring. There's nothing fun about him. I'm going to go back to the guy who's cheated on me 1,000 fucking times and treated me like human garbage and like nothing but a personal toy. At that point, why should anybody feel bad for you? You have plenty of guys around you that you could choose from that would actually treat you right. And yet you keep going for the dumbass who treats you like shit and cheats on you. But no, it's not your choice in men. It's all men's fault.
It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas, and they're not any better in the Midwest. They, quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country.
My friends are successful. Men don't give a shit about that. They'd marry a Walmart cashier if she was nice to them.
Yeah, see, I agree with that. If she treats me nice with respect, she becomes my peace, she makes my house feel like a home, she makes me feel like I don't have to be on guard around her all the fucking time, I wouldn't care how much she fucking made. She could work in the drive-thru of fucking Taco Bell or McDonald's. As long as she does what I just said, yeah, I'd marry her. I don't give a shit how successful you are, how much money you make, what your status is. That all means absolute fucking nothing. If anything, it makes you more unlikable because you have your head so far up your fucking ass that the only thing you smell is your own shit. And you think it smells like a field of fucking flowers.
I think men between the ages of 20 and 30 are not ready, in most cases, for marriage, are usually not ready to be husbands and fathers.
That's a cultural issue. So, look,
No, I would actually, back to your point, I think it's a biological thing.
No, it's not. It is a cultural issue.
Let me get this straight. Men are all trash and won't commit and won't leave mommy's basement, and they're destroying the birth rates. But also young men are biologically incapable of commitment and being parents. What? But wait, there's more! She also believes women don't have to bring anything to the table.
And as a woman,
Yeah, that is a huge fucking... If you are going out on a date with a woman and she firmly believes that either she is the table or she doesn't have to bring anything whatsoever, they are not worth the date. Just get up and leave. Both people have to put in effort for the relationship for it to work. If one person is putting in all the effort while the other is doing fuck all, the relationship is no longer worth it. Both have to put in effort for the relationship to work. Both have to bring something to the table. And neither one has to believe that they are the table.
I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money. But I don't think a man needs to get something out of it to be a manly man, a protector and a provider. If you think you need to get something out of it, I quite frankly don't consider you a real man.
Never before in history have women demanded so much and offered so little. So before we get deeper into this retarded, manufactured, stay-at-home son narrative, let's check the Facebook comments of this Fox News video, because I am really interested to see what, like, the typical Fox News viewer thinks about this. If the women are anything like these two, I can hardly blame the men for staying home and not wanting to date them. Blame, blame, blame. These two women have a combined age of 93, and they have 0 children between both of them. You both have repugnant personality types, so listening to this was like male birth control to me. My goodness! Boomers are ruthless! Bunch of sissies. I served 6 years, 2 years in Southeast Asia after Vietnam was over. When I was 18, rent was $450 and I could afford to get my own place. She's so spot on. Nothing screams I'm a loser run from me than a guy living at home in his parents' house with his 12-year-old boy's bedroom decor at age of 30. Thank God we raised our sons to be men, who grew up, lived on their own, found their soulmate, got married, bought a beautiful home, and started a family. I was out the door at 18, worked on the assembly line at Dodge and in the Air Force at 19, never went back home. I can't relate to this. Yes, we know you people can't relate. We know. But the world has changed. Why can't you people get this through your heads? I will never let my son stay home. I'm trying to push...
Yeah, I've tried to have this kind of conversation with one of my coworkers. He refuses to see it. He makes every excuse he possibly can to refuse to admit that I'm right. That it is much more difficult now than it was 30, 40, 50 years ago to own an actual house.
them out of the nest. Okay, I really gotta ask, is this an Anglo thing? Immediately kicking your kid out when they turn 18 years old? My Mediterranean mind cannot comprehend this. And honestly, why the f would a man leave home, leave his mother's cooking, for a woman who probably can't cook? Not me, though. Personally, I can cook amazing homemade meals.
I think for kids, it's a better idea for them to stay with the parents after 18, at least save money. And at the age of, I'd say, 25, look at how much money you saved. Hopefully you saved about anywhere between $20,000 and $30,000, depending on what your job is. And then go find a place to live. But, you know, that's just me.
I'll have you know I am a great trad wife.
Freaking dino nuggies.
Bone apple teeth. Now, unfortunately, Tommy Lauren wasn't the only one pushing this stupid, lazy young men go get a job bullshit. Mike Johnson did it, referencing 29-year-old men playing video games all day. Steve Scalise did it with 35-year-old men playing video games all day. And just the other night, I saw this on my TV. Again.
A Wall Street Journal headline got our attention. The new dream job for young men, stay-at-home son. It's a phrase that's taken off since 27-year-old Brendan Leo won $59,000 on Jeopardy. And he has a master's degree in political science, but he's unemployed. Grow up, get a job, get a wife, build a family.
Just get a wife, bro. Just get a job, bro.
Oh, get a job? Yeah. Just get a job? Why don't I strap on my job helmet and squeeze down into a job cannon and fire off into jobland, where jobs grow on jobbies?
The term welfare queen must have fell out with Republicans, because it seems even they know the approved safe demographic to go after now. Because it's very obvious what demographic they are talking about when they say young men in their basements playing video games. This just get a job, lazy attitude is not surprising, but it's especially funny coming from Fox News of all places. Fox News that spends so much time yapping about immigrants taking American jobs. Fox will talk for years about how Americans are being screwed out of the workforce. But when this issue manifests itself in Gen Z, suddenly it's a moral failure. The fact is, a lot of American jobs held by men are being lost to automation, offshoring, and yes, cheap foreign labor. Companies and billionaires would rather have cheap labor that they can essentially abuse, not pay fair wages to, just good little work.
This is something I never really could understand. It's like, you know, if you actually pay, what's this? What happened? What are those? Great. I'm going to tell people this. Don't go into someone's live stream and, you know, say stuff like that. That's just a good way to get yourself ignored. What the hell was I talking about?
Drones who won't essentially abuse.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to talk about. I don't understand why jobs refuse to take care of their employees. If you take care of your employee, pay them well, then, you know, they'll actually be happy and you'll get better work out of them. It's like they're thinking of the short-term gain over long-term profit. It's like, you actually want your company to do well? Well, make sure you're taking care of the people who are, you know, keeping your company afloat. Take care of your grunts. Take care of everybody. Make sure they're happy. Make sure they're paid well and all this stuff, and they'll be more willing to want to work harder for you, and therefore your company will profit. But no, let's not do that. Let's say, you know, fuck our employees. Let's fire the ones who actually are doing well, and, you know, let's go with cheap labor. Because, you know, fuck your own company. I've always told people, you know, companies would do so much better if they actually took care of their employees. If they actually cared for their physical and mental well-being, if they actually paid them well, gave them good benefits, they would be much happier and they'd be more willing to work harder. And therefore your company would profit. But, you know, no, companies refuse to see that.
Not pay fair wages to, just good little worker drones who won't unionize, rather than hire American workers for a living wage. The cheaper the labor they hire, the more money they make. I remember when Bernie Sanders called open borders a Koch brothers conspiracy.
Open borders?
Open borders.
That's a Koch brothers proposal, which says essentially there is no United States.
But it would make a
Excuse
lot
me.
of the global poor richer, wouldn't it?
And it'd make everybody in America poor. Then you're doing away with the concept of a nation state.
Where'd that guy go? A lot of these jobs being taken are jobs traditionally held by men, like construction and factory jobs, manual labor work. But it's not just manual labor jobs, it's also the tech industry and business industry, which are careers also mainly held by men. There are many examples of this, such as Microsoft recently cutting thousands of American workers while requesting 14,000 more H-1B workers this year. Some of those job positions include data scientists, which are 70% men, software developers, which are 80% men, and electronic engineers, which are 90% men, and many more like that. Another example of this was Tesla, where roughly 15,000 American employees were fired in April 2024, and many were replaced with H-1B visa holders. On Twitter, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy tried to chalk this up to these immigrants just simply being the best and the brightest. Yeah, okay. You're paying them less for longer hours and more work, and they're willing to deal with it in order to stay in the country. It's coercive, exploitative, and, dare I say, not very America first. When conservatives confronted Elon Musk for this last year, he told somebody, and I quote, "Take a big step back and yourself in the face. I will go to war on this issue, the likes of which you cannot possibly come."
The reason I'm in America, along with so many critical people who built SpaceX, Tesla, and hundreds of other companies, made America strong, is because of H-1B. No, it's because you refuse to actually pay for quality work. You just want cheap labor that you can exploit and profit from. Fucking idiot.
Comprehend. So when it comes to replacing American workers in manual labor with cheap foreign labor, it's deport, deport, deport. But when it comes to replacing his American workers with cheap foreign labor, it's yourself in the face. Interesting. There's also affirmative action and DEI, which are other things Fox News always pisses and shits about. But suddenly, when the conversation is about Gen Z men, the demographic of people who are victims of these things, suddenly these things just like don't exist anymore. Then it's, oh, young men are all just lazy. They just want to be in their parents' basement, ordering DoorDash and playing video games. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. I am not beating the allegations with this one. The brown people are not taking your jobs, okay? It's not their fault. They're just cheaper. Aim upwards. But it's not just the brown people taking your jobs. It's the women, too. Many of the dying industries are male-dominated, while many of the growing industries are female-dominated, and stigma around these jobs being woman jobs usually stops men from working them. Women are overwhelmingly entering and excelling in college and the workforce, and they're more flexible about job position and pay, while young men usually hold out for higher-paying, higher-position jobs that will make them the breadwinner. Because you see, despite the world progressing and the role of women changing, the role of men has not changed. Every woman is a feminist until the dinner bill comes. But what's crazy is, women might be the ones paying that dinner bill soon. A study from the UK found women aged 22 to 29 earned about 1,000 more annually than men, completely reversing the traditional gender pay gap for this age group. In the US, a 2022 Pew Research Center analysis showed that women under 30 out-earned men in many metropolitan areas, with median earnings at or above 100% of men's in cities like New York and Washington, D.C. That may not sound like a lot of money now, but it's a growing trend that has never been seen before. It's so bad that it's really starting to affect the dating world. American women have never been this resigned to staying single. They are responding to major demographic shifts, including huge and growing gender gaps in economic and educational attainment, political affiliation, and beliefs about what family should look like. More women than men are attending college, buying houses, and focusing on their friendships and careers over dating and marriage. The challenges of finding a romantic partner have been made more complicated by a growing divide in education and career prospects between men and women. In 2024, 40% of American women ages 25 to 34 had a bachelor's degree, according to Pew, compared to 37% of men. A bachelor's degree increases net lifetime earnings by an estimated $1 million. Women are doing comparatively well when it comes to education in their early years in the labor force, and men are doing comparatively badly. Men's economic struggles seem to be having the biggest effect on women without a college degree, whose marriage rates by 45 have plummeted to 52% for those born between 1930 and 1980, according to research by Cornell University. Young men without a degree are struggling so much as a group that there simply aren't enough with steady jobs and earnings for non-college women to date. Men are poor, women most affected. Modern women are no longer tied to their gender role. Birth control has freed them from the prison that is their biology, and they are making their own money, sometimes more than men. They can have it all, they can do anything, they can be anything. While at the same time, men are still expected to be the provider. And more importantly, many men still want to be the provider, but they can't. And women, though strong and independent, still want men to be the provider.
And as a woman, I want a strong man who is a protector and a provider that will go to war if need be, that will protect me, protect my family, make money.
Basically, men are like, we're worried we're not making enough money. And women are like, we're worried men are not making enough money. Hello class, I am Miss On Head. I am substituting for your teacher today. She was arrested for molesting a 12-year-old boy. So today we are learning about the graph. This is the growth in productivity versus hourly compensation graph. And you can trace almost everything bad happening in society back to this graph. As you can see, productivity increased while compensation barely grew over the same time period. Notice they tracked very closely up until around 1972. Now, what happened around 1972, class? Well, the top marginal tax rate was reduced from 70% in 1964 to 50% by 1981. The federal minimum wage began to stagnate. Income going to the 1% rose from 9% in the 60s to 16% in 2023. CEOs also went from making 20 times more than the average worker to making 350 times more than the average worker. Anything else? Anything else happen around 1972? Yes, Jimmy, that is correct. Women joined the workforce around this time, but we don't have to get into that today. The fact is, hard work no longer guarantees success, and the will to work is tied to the fruits of your labor. And young men are fed up today because 90% of that fruit is rotten. Now, is there some truth to modern young people being lazy? Sure, I guess. Every generation had lazy people. And we do basically live in late-stage mouse utopia, after all. Young people today are faced with two options: revolution or escapism. And a lot of them are choosing escapism. Many have basically given up, but it's not like they didn't try. They tried and they found out the juice just isn't worth the squeeze, whether it's college, dating, or the job market. And in a way, many young men are kind of choosing revolution. The never before seen large shift rightward in young men is a small revolution in a way. They're saying, this isn't working for me, this sucks, I hate this, I want something different. This is also manifesting on the Democrat side in general. The young men that are still voting left are voting further left. You saw this recently in New York City, where Zoran Mamdani, a self-proclaimed democratic socialist, won the Democratic primary. Young men are tired of the establishment, left and right. They're tired of the system and they want to burn it down and start again. They want something that works for them because this is not working for them.
If you wake up one morning and you find yourself in a society where 23-year-olds with 4-year college degrees and like initiative who aren't smoking weed every day, if they can't make enough to buy a car, much less a home, much less get married, much less have children, then why should you be surprised when half of them say they prefer socialism?
Huh.
It's because socialism has been proven to be shit and deadly.
Fox News should hire that guy. There is an entire generation of fighting-aged men who are enraged and feel like they have nothing to live for. You should probably start caring. When they saw this airing on Fox News, they saw an angry woman nagging in their faces about how everything wrong in the world is their fault. An all too familiar thing they have been hearing for far too long. But unfortunately for Democrats, nobody under the age of 60 watches Fox News, so this is not really going to have an effect on young men whatsoever. So keep that $20 million. You might still need it, unless we get dragged into another war in the Middle East. If we do get dragged into another war in the Middle East, young men might come running back to the Democratic Party. Maybe not. Maybe not even a George Bush II electric boogaloo will have men coming back to the Democratic Party. Hopefully we don't find out. And as I'm editing this right now, a lot of young people, even the podcast bros, seem pretty upset about the Epstein thing, but we know Democrats won't take advantage of the situation in order to protect the Clintons, so maybe not even this will save them, but we'll see, I guess. Hold on one second. That's better. So that was that video. What do you think of the male loser epidemic? Do you agree with Tommy Lauren? Is it all men's fault? Leave your comments below. I read them all. I am probably reading them right now as you type them. Wait, don't write that. No. You can't say that. No, it doesn't matter if it's with an A. If you like this video, please subscribe, and if you can, donate to me on Patreon or leave a little tip with a little tip jar down below. I'll give it a little heart. It helps the channel, and I appreciate it so much. And I will see you guys again soon with a new video, a new slop video, because I know you gremlins love that shit. Bye!
Yeah, no, the lady's not right. It's... No matter what, though, men are always going to be constantly blamed for everything. So, you know, why should that be any surprise? Why should that be anything new? At this point, men are just used to it. We're numb to it, so to speak.